In this session, I will discuss about the Spearman's rank correlation and the Pearson's correlation coefficient. First of all, we will see about the Spearman's rank correlation. Here you can see the Spearman's rank correlation coefficient is used to discover the strength of an association between two sets of data. It is quite like if you are having one set of data which is named by the variable x and another set of data which is named by the variable y. If you need to identify the association, the second method that we can use is the Spearman rank correlation, and we can use this for the ordinal data. You cannot apply this method for the what we are saying as the nominal data. Therefore, if you can see the data in a ordered manner, it is under the ordinary scale, then you can apply this PMS rank correlation technique to identify the relationship or the association between the variables. And if you need, you can apply it for the interval or ratio scales, but in generally we are not going to do so. It is because we are having the Pearson correlation coefficient to identify the relationship among the variables if it is in the interval scale or the ratio scale. But anyhow, if you need to apply, then you have to order these values, or in simply we can convert it into a ordinal scale data. After that, you can apply the Spearman's rank correlation, and you can see that the row notation is used here to denote the Spearman's rank correlation. You can apply, you can use this row notation. And if you once you calculate the Spearman's rank correlation, you can see that the Spearman's rank correlation is lies in between -1 and +1, -1 and +1. Therefore, in general, we can say that if it is going from -1 to +1, according to the value and the sign that the obtained value having, then we can identify whether it is a positive relationship or negative relationship. And anyhow, if you are going from -1 to +1, in between you can identify the value 0. Therefore, first of all, we will see what these three values define or giving interpretation for these three values. Therefore, if it is the value is +1, then we can say that there is a perfect positive correlation, or it is a perfect positive relationship among these two variables. Therefore, it means that if you are having x and y, if you are increasing x by 1 unit, then y will be also increased by y units. Therefore, you can say it is a perfect positive correlation. If it is -1, then we can say that if x is increasing, then y should be decreased. It means if it is like the negative relationship, it means that if we are increasing x by 1 unit, then y will be decreased by 1 unit. Therefore, we can simply say +1 denotes the perfect positive relationship, -1 denotes the perfect negative relationship. Only the positive and the negative sign defines whether it is a positive or negative relationship. The value 1 says that it is a perfect relationship. And if you get the value as 0, then we can say that there is no relationship among the considered variables. But in between these this 0 and +1, then here we can say that it is a somewhat a positive relationship. And if it is in the negative side, then we can say that there is a negative relationship in this region. We can say that there is a negative relationship. Therefore, this is how we are interpreting the results once you are obtaining the values from using the Spearman's rank correlation. Last one, perfect positive, 0, no relationship, -1, perfect negative relationship. And in between 0 and +1, it means whatever a positive point decimal value, then there would be a positive relationship. If it is a negative value with some decimal value, then it would be a negative relationship. And the equation that we are used to calculate this Spearman's rank correlation is this. And we can apply this equation if you cannot see any tied rankings. Tied rankings, it is quite like this. And now think about if I consider about this set of data x, and I am saying this is the rank of x, or x mu of the rank of x. Now think that if I have a set of data, it is 10, 13, 11, 15, 20. 10, 13, 12, 15, and 20. Now, if I ask to rank this data, if I am giving the one for the least value and uh, going so, then you can rank this data set in this form. Now you can see that 10 is the least value. You can see therefore value is 1. Then next highest value is 12. Therefore I have to give 2. Then next value is 13. It is 3. Then 15 and then 12. Therefore, in a case like this, we can see that there is no any tied ranking. It means that no any equal rankings. Therefore, in a case like this, then you can directly apply this equation to calculate the SPMS rank correlation. Therefore, if there is no any tied ranking, then we can use this equation to calculate the value for rho. Therefore, the equation is rho equals 1 minus 6 times summation d squared divided by n times n squared minus 1, where d is the difference between the corresponding pairs of ranking and n is the number of pairs of observations. Okay, using this equation, you will get a value in between -1 and +1. Therefore, this can be considered as the value for the Spearman's rank correlation. And I told you that this can be only applied if you cannot see any tied rankings. And if there are any tied rankings exist, then we have to use separate formula. Therefore, this is the formula that we are use if we are having the tied rankings. Therefore, tied rank, if you see about the tied rankings, it is quite like this. Now think about if this is the set X, and if you need to, if you just need to take the rankings of this set X, then if the values you can see in this form. Now you can see 10, 11, 10, 13, 15, 12, 13, another 13, and 18. If this is the set of data you are having, now you are asked to rank this set of data. Now what you can do is, here you have to give the rankings. But if you are going for rankings in this data set, what you can see is, here you can see that 10 appears for 2 times. Therefore, if you are giving the one for the least one, then what can we have here? Here you can see that 10 is the least one, but here also there is another 10. Can you give this as ranking 1 and this as ranking 2? Definitely we cannot do it. Therefore, another person may say that, okay, this cannot be happen. I will give this as the ranking 2 and this as the ranking 1. Therefore, in a situation like this, you cannot have different rankings for a same number. Therefore, in such situation, we have to identify a common ranking for these observations. Therefore, now you can see that initially you have identified 1 and 2 for these these two values of 10. Therefore, you have to take the average value of these two rankings. Therefore, now you can take it is 1 plus 2 divided by 2. The value is 1.5. Therefore, instead of saying it as 1 and 2, you can say the ranking is 1.5. Therefore, you can have the ranking as 1.5 here. The next value is again 1.5. Now you can see that the same ranking has used here, and it is now what we are saying as a tied ranking. Ties means the same value, and the next value that we can use is the next smallest value is 11. Then we have already allocated 1 and 2. uh, by using these two values, we have obtained this as 1.5. Therefore, the next value that we can allocate here is 3. And after 11, the next value is 12, it is somewhat here. Then we can say value is 4. Then the next highest value is 13. But if you see about this value 13, you can see that there are again a set of values. If you see about this set of values, we have gone for ranking number 4. Then 13 can be given as ranking 5. Then this is 6 and this value is 7. Now you can see that the same observation, the magnitude is same, but we have given three different rankings. Therefore, again we have to take the average of these three values. Therefore, it is 5 plus 6 plus 7, and this has to be divided by 3. Therefore, if you do this calculation, then you will end up with the value as 6. 18 divided by 3 value is equal to 6. Therefore, instead of using 5 or 6 or 7, you can simply take this value as 6. Therefore, instead of 5, you can use 6 here. Here also you can use 6. Here also you can use 6. Therefore, the 6 has obtained using taking the average of these three values. Thereafter, the smallest value is 15. Therefore, you can say this as now you have gone up to 5, 6, 7. Then this value is 8, and the next value is 9. Therefore, this is the case that we are facing with the tied rank. Therefore, in this situation, you can see that there are tied rankings. Here you can see that here you can see that these two are acting as tied rankings, as well as the next set of values. You can see that this set of values also acting as tied rank. Therefore, if you are having the tight rankings in your ranking list, then you cannot use the previous equation. In such situations, you have to use somewhat a modification for the existing equation. Therefore, what we are doing is rather than in the previous equation, you saw that there was just the summation of d square n times n squared minus 1. This was the equation. If you do not have tied rankings, but since you are having tied rankings, we are adding an additional term called the correction factor. Therefore, here the equation would be 1 minus 6 times summation of d squared plus correction factor divided by n times n squared minus 1. Therefore, this is the only addition term that we are adding for this equation, and to calculate the correction factor, we are using this equation m times n squared minus 1 divided by 12, where m is the number of values type. Therefore, here you can see that 1.5, here you are having several type values. Therefore, you can use this equation to calculate the correction factor values. Therefore, using this equation, you can simply obtain the values for the Pearson's rank correlation. The same meaning for the other. D is the difference between corresponding pairs of rankings, and N is the number of pairs of observations. And now we will discuss an example for this equation. For this equation, we will discuss an example using how to use this equation. Therefore, now what we need to do is, if you are going to perform the calculation using the Spearman's rank correlation, first of all, you need to rank the given data set. Therefore, in here, you have to first of all rank this defined data set. Here you can see that there are some marks allocated for English and mathematics, and here you need to rank these two subjects separately. Therefore, if I take English as the subject X and Maths as the subject Y, first of all, I need to make their rank. Therefore, first of all, I will take this as Rx. It is the rank for English, and then I will make another row for rank of Rx and Ry. If you name or mark the rankings, now you can see that 56 is the least rank, least number you are having. Therefore, you have to allocate 1 for here. Then the next highest number is 2. The 58, it is value 2. Sorry. 45 was the minimum value. Therefore, I have to take it as 1. Then this value is 2. And then next highest value is 58, it is 3. Then thereafter, we can see that 61 and 62. Then 4 and 5. Thereafter 64, 6, then Next set of values, it is 71, 75, around 70, it is now 7, 8, 9, 10. Therefore, this is what I have done for the rank of x. For the set of x data, then I have ranked those values. And then I have take the ranking of the y also. It is the ranking of the mathematics mark. Therefore, here I need to take these values, ranking of these values. Here you can see we seen that 40 value is the minimum one. Then the next highest it is only 40 values. Then next value is 56. Then 59. Then 60. Thereafter 63. Then 65. 66. 67. 70 and 70. Now you can see that this RY denotes the rankings obtained for mathematics subject. Now what you need to do is, according if you see about the equation, in this equation you need to get the values for value for n and value for d only. Therefore, we already know that value of n is number of observations, pairs of observation. Here you can see there are altogether 10 pairs of observation. Therefore, according to the example, we can see that value of n is equal to 10. And now we need to take the value of d and d square. If you can directly take the value of d squared, you can take it. Otherwise, you can take the value of d. Value of d can be calculated anyway. If you need, you can take it as ry minus rx, or else in the other way around you can do it. It is because at the end we need the value for d squared only. Therefore, if I take the value, the difference between I will take rx minus 1, ry, then value is minus 5, minus 1, value is 0, 3, minus 1, 4, 0, 0, 1, minus 1. And now in the next row, I am constructing the values for d squared. Here I am getting 25, 1, 0, 3, here we are getting 3 squared as 9, then 1, 16, 0, 0, 1 and 1. Now what I need to do is, now I need to take the summation of d square. I need the summation of d square. It means that I need to get the summation of all these values. Therefore, I need to add 25 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 16 plus 1 plus 1. Therefore, together I am getting this calculation as 54. Now I need to do the calculation. What I need to do is I need to substitute the values. It is rho equals 1 minus 6 times here summation of d squared we can take it as 54. Then divide this by n times n squared minus 1. N is equal to 10. N squared is 10 squared. N squared is 10 squared. Then minus 1. Therefore, by performing this calculation, you can simply obtain a value for. So therefore, using the calculation, using this method, you can simply calculate the values for. You can simply calculate the values for SPMN rank coefficient. Therefore, according to this, you can say that the value is 0.67. Therefore, once you perform the calculation, it is 6727. Can get this value as 0.6727. Therefore, this is how we are using SPMM rank correlation for the if there is no any types. And there is another example I have included, exercise I have included. Therefore, you can try it by yourself for the calculation for what you can see as if we are having tight rankings. Therefore, this is what we have done. Therefore, these are the calculation steps. First of all, we need to rank them separately, and then we need to take their differences and then take the square term and then apply it in the formula. Therefore, these are the steps you need to do. Here you can say that there is a positive relationship among these variables. Therefore, a person who is scoring higher value for English may score higher value for mathematics also. Therefore, in the other way around also you can say a person who is scoring low mark for English may score low mark for mathematics also. Therefore, in this form, this way you can comment on your result. Therefore, generally what we can do is we can, by seeing this value you can comment on it. Therefore, according to this value, simply you can say that there is a positive relationship between the mathematics marks and the English marks. And this example, this is for the calculation for ties. Therefore, what we have to do here is, if I brief about this, first of all, we need to rank these if it is in the column manner, then separately. But here we are having it as rows. Therefore, we can just rank the variables separately. Then we can take their differences and we can calculate the correction factors using the number of ties we can see. Therefore, accordingly, we have to perform calculation and then we have to apply the values in formula. But anyhow, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to rank of x, you need the rank of y, then you need the value for d, and then you need to value for d square, and you need a value for m and value for n. You need these values also. You need the value of m and n, where m is the number of ties that you can see in here and n is the number of pair of observations you can see. Therefore, you can perform that calculation by yourself and apply the formula, and you can perform the calculation if you can see the ties in the rankings using this equation. And thereafter, we will see about their interpretations. We have already gone through this positive relationship, negative relationship, and no relationship. Positive means if we are increasing the value of x, then y value also increasing. It is quite like this. If you see a diagram like this, then as x increases, y also increasing. Therefore, this is the way of the positive relationship. And if you see about the negative relationship, if we are considering two variables x and y, as x increases you can see that y also increases. Now here you can see that as x increasing, if y decreases, as x increasing y is decreasing, then such a thing can be considered as negative relationship. And for no relationship, if you are just having the data points in this form, now think about, there is no any linear pattern, therefore you can say this has a no relationship here. It means that you cannot identify a change of y with the change of x. Therefore, it can conclude that change of x may not, if the change of x not affected on the change of y, then there we can conclude that there is no relationship among the variables. Therefore, this is how we are interpreting the results. Therefore, we can say using the value obtained for Pearson, this Spearman rank correlation, you can say whether it is a positive relationship, negative relationship, or if you are getting the value as 0, then we can have it as a no relationship. And if you see the behavior of the data points, then you will see the values in this form. Here it is a positive relationship, here it is a negative relationship, but here there is no any pattern manner. Therefore, we can say that there is no any relationship if we are getting the graphs in this form. And the next one is what we are going to discuss is, this is actually a data representation method. Prior to starting this next part, I will just brief on this part, scatter plot. Scatter plot is again another method that we can use to display data or presentation of data. In here, what we can do is, this is actually a special type of plot we are using to identify the relationship among the variables. Therefore, using this scatter plot, simply you can say that you can identify the relationship among the variables. Therefore, In this way, you can see that here you can see that there is a upward trend and there is a downward trend and there is no any defined trend. Therefore, this is actually some examples for this scatter plot. And here you can see that here when you need to construct this scatter plot, there should be a pair of values. One should be in the x coordinate and the next should be in the y coordinate. Therefore, now using this set of data, you can simply construct this scatter plot. To construct this scatter plot, you are naming two axes, x-axis and the y-axis, and accordingly you need to plot the values here. If you are considering y as 8, then x as 8, then y value is 12. Here 1.812 point is here, then 95 point is 9 with 5 somewhat here, then 10 with 6, 10 with 6, then 3 with 7, 3 with 7 somewhat here, and then 11 with 9, 11 with 12. I need to extend this, 11 with 9, 11 with 9. Therefore, now if you try to match these lines, then you may get somewhat a linear trend in this form. Therefore, this is the line that we can consider for this set of data. It is quite like a constant value we can see. Therefore, somewhat anyhow, we cannot exactly say it is a constant, but somewhat parallel to x-axis, but not exactly parallel. Um, Therefore, using these scatter plots, you can identify whether there is how the relationship of this set of data. And if you move for the next one, there are some examples I have included for the behavior of these scatter plots. Now you can see that in the first graph, you can see that there is a perfect positive correlation. Perfect means if you just draw a line, then you can see that all the points are exactly on the line. But in the next one, you can see that the majority of the points may scatter around the fitted line, but here you can see that there is somewhat deviation of the point. Therefore, now in this situation, you can see that all three graphs suggest that upward trending means positive relationship among the data, but in the first line, it says that all the points are perfectly fit for the line. Therefore, we can say it as a perfect positive correlation. But in the second one, only or most of the points are scattered very closer to the fitted line. Therefore, we can say that there is a high positive relationship. And here you can see that points are much more deviated from this fitted line. Therefore, we can say that still positive relationship, but there is a low relationship among these variables. Therefore, this is how we are identifying the relationship using the scatter plots. And if you see about the next set of scatter plots, here you can see that again there is a negative relationship, and but all the points can be fitted on the line. Therefore, there is a perfect relationship, but it is a negative. And here you can see that the majority of the points are what we can say scattered much more closer to this line. Therefore, you can see that there is a high negative correlation. But here you can see that you cannot perform that much of line. If you see about this set of data, here you can see that those are somewhat just as a random pattern. No any fitted line can be model. It is because if you model a line, what you can see that the most of the points may scattered. Therefore, you cannot say that here it has identified that no correlation in the upward, or here you can see that no any downward no trend. Therefore, you can see that all the points are just in a random pattern, no any fitted pattern. Therefore, this is how we are identifying the positive, negative, and no correlation using the scatter plot. And now we will move for the next part. It is the Pearson's correlation coefficient, which is denoted by the simple R. And we can apply the Pearson correlation coefficient if our data is in the interval scale or the normal scale, the ratio scale. And here also we are using this measurement to measure the strength of a relationship among given any given two variables. Therefore, in the Pearson correlation coefficient also it is quite same as the interpretation is quite same as the Spearman's rank correlation. It is because the coefficient value always lies in between -1 and +1. Therefore, if it is +1, perfect positive relationship. Then if it is -1, we can say that perfect negative relationship or perfect inverse relationship. And if the R is equal to 0, we can say that there is no relationship among the variables. But if you are going to identify the relationship, this thing would be, it is better to keep this thing also in your mind. And this is just I am identifying some theoretical quantities related to interpretation of these values. Now think about if you are having a set of data, and if you identify, you know that you can identify the values in between -1 to +1. In between this -1 and +1, you can identify that 0 is there. If it is 0, you know that there is no relationship. There is no relationship. But if it is +1, we have identified that it is a perfect. It is a perfect positive. But if it is a negative one, again it is a perfect, but it is negative. This again, one stands for perfect and sign is for negative. It is perfect negative. And now you can see that in this region, you can see that in this region, you can see that it is somewhat, we are getting positive values. We are getting positive values in this region. Therefore, you can say that starting from here to here, we can say it is positive. But if you consider about this region, you can say that it is quite negative. This region is negative. This is negative. But you can see that in between 0 and 1, I will divide this into three regions. It is quite like this. Now I am going to divide this into regions. And if I consider about these two values, I am considering the value 0.3 and zero point 0.6. If you can see the values in between this point 0 and point 0.3, then we are saying this as a weak region. Therefore, there is somewhat a weak positive relationship. Weak positive relationship. In between point 0.3 and point 0.6, we are saying this as moderate. We are saying this as moderate positive relationship. And if it is greater than 0.6, we can say that there is a strong positive relationship. Therefore, this is how we are defining the values. Therefore, if the value is in between 0 and 0.3, there is a weak relationship. If it is in between 0.3 and 0.6, then it is a moderate relationship. And if it is greater than 0.6 but less than 1, there is a, we can say that there is a strong relationship. In this side also, for the negative side also, we will have the same interpretation. Is minus 0.6 and here it is minus 0.3. Therefore, here we will get this as weak relationship, but negative weak. Here it is moderate, and here it is strong. Therefore, this is how we are identifying weak, moderate, and strong relationship. But if you see about the previous calculation that we have done under Spearman rank correlation, we have already identified that value as In the previous calculation, we have identified rho as it is 0.6727. At that point, what we have discussed was there is a positive relationship, but if you can apply this scale to it also, in the Pearson correlation coefficient also, in the Spearman rank correlation also, we can say it as a we can apply this scale. Therefore, now the calculated value was it is 0.6727. Therefore, it is quite in this region. Therefore, we can say that there is a positive strong relationship among these variables. Therefore, we can say it as a positive strong relationship among the variables. Therefore, you can now combine whether it is positive or negative with the weak, moderate, or strong relationship. Therefore, using by combining these two concepts, positive, negative concept with the weak, moderate, strong relationship concept. Therefore, now you can combine them to interpret the values you obtain. Therefore, still you can, even though you are using these values, these are just the theoretical concepts only, but in the practical situation, sometimes the values will be deviate from this. Therefore, uh, in the practical situations, we may face with some values which are deviated from these values, but these are some general values we are used to identify weak relationship, moderate, and the strong relationship. And if you see about the correlation analysis, rather than saying as the calculation of Pearson correlation coefficient, we tend to say this as the correlation analysis. When you need to calculate the things with using this correlation technique. Therefore, what we need to do is using the correlation, the ultimate idea under this is the we need to identify the strength of the relationship among the given two variables. Therefore, we are using correlation analysis to measure the strength of the relationship between any given two variables. And but here we are, even though we are having several types of relationships, here we are just applying it for the identification of the linear relationships only. We are not going to identify anything for the non-linear relationship. Only for the linear relationship we are defining this correlation analysis in this system. And here we just apply this for the interval scale or the ratio scale variables only. We are not going to apply this for nominal or the ordinal scale data. And we can say the under the correlation analysis, what we are going to do is we are going to identify the correlation coefficient, and it says how much how is the strength of the relationship among the considered variables. Therefore, we can use Pearson's correlation coefficient for the correlation analysis. And to calculate the Pearson's correlation coefficient, we can simply use this equation. Using this equation, we can simply calculate the Pearson's correlation coefficient. Here I told you that R is used to denote the Pearson's correlation coefficient. Therefore, value of R can be calculated using summation of xy minus n times x bar y bar divided by here square root of summation of x squared minus n x bar squared times summation of y squared minus n y bar squared. But there are so many forms of this equation, but if you are sticking into this form, then it would be quite easy for the calculations. And if I consider about these terms here, this is the multiplication of xy. This is the multiplication of xy. First of all, here if you are having the set of data in this form, x and y, then you need to calculate a column for xy. And at the end of this column, you can take the summation of xy. Here you are getting summation of xy. Therefore, that value has to be substituted here, summation of xy. Then n times x bar times y bar. Here x bar is the arithmetic mean, simple mean we are considering. To calculate the x bar value, what we need to take is x bar is equals to summation of x divided by n, where n is the number of observations. To calculate the x bar, you need to get the summation here, summation of x. To calculate the y bar, we need to get the summation of y. It is the summation of y divided by n. Therefore, here we can have this as the summation of y. Then we can simply calculate it as x bar and y bar. Then we need to get their multiplications, n times x bar times y bar. In here you can see that again another term called x square. Therefore we need to take the for this calculation we need to prepare a column for x square, as well as we need to prepare a column for y squared also. Therefore now you can see that it is the summation of y squared, and here you can see it is the value of summation of x square. Then using these values you can simply calculate these quantities, and here this summation of x squared is the quantity we are applying here. We already know what is the value of n, it is the number of pairs of observation we are having, and x bar is same as previous, it is the mean value of x, and y squared it is the value we are taking from here, summation of y squared. Then y bar is same as previous, and its square term has to be considered. X bar is the sample mean of x, y bar is the sample mean of y, and n is the sample size or number of pairs in the provided data set. Therefore, if you are going for the calculation using the Pearson correlation coefficient, you need to. It is better to prepare a table in this form. This would be really helpful for the calculations. And this is one example I have taken for Pearson's correlation coefficient. In this example, here they are asking for 9 students held their breath once after breathing normally and relaxing for 1 minute, and once after hyperventilating for 1 minute. And here they need to identify whether there is any relationship between the breathing speed once they are having with the normal condition and the hyperventilation conditions. Therefore, here you can say that one variable can be identified as the variable x, and one can be considered as the variable y. Therefore, what you need to do is, first of all, you need to, it is better to write in the column manner. First column, you can apply this normal data, and for the next column, it is the hyperventilating data. Then thereafter, you need to calculate these three columns. Xi column has to be calculated, x squared column has to be calculated, and y squared column has to be calculated by yourself. Then at the end of these calculation, you need to take their summations. Therefore, here you will get the summation of x, which is needed for calculation. Summation of y also needed. Then summation of xy also needed. Then summation of x squared. Then summation of y squared is needed. If you see about the calculation steps of these, first of all, you need to calculate the value of x bar. You need, rather than going in, first of all, you need to identify how many pairs of observation. According to this calculation, altogether 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Altogether 9 pairs of observations are there. Thereafter, you need to calculate the value of x bar using the equation summation of x divided by n. In the third step, you need to calculate the value of y bar using the equation summation of y divided by n. Then thereafter, you need these quantities before applying in the equation. You need the value for summation of xy is needed. Summation of xy is needed. Then summation of x squared is needed, and summation of y squared is needed. Therefore, now once you have these values, then you have to apply this in the formula. Then you have to applying the formula. Therefore, this is how we are performing the calculation. Steps of the calculation are mentioned here. Then you can try for this exercise by yourself to calculate the values. And after calculating the value, then you need to interpret the values. As the last part, you need to interpret the value. Therefore, as an exercise, um, you can perform this calculation, and you can try for obtaining a value for Pearson's correlation coefficient. And but if you need to just go for the calculation, I think it would be better if you can construct this scatter plot at initially. It is because if you are constructing scatter plot, then you can easily identify that whether there is existence of linear relationship or not. Therefore, it is better for the correlation analysis. First step is obtaining the scatter plot. Therefore, it would be better in here, since it is given as exercise. Now you can see that the points are somewhat near to this line. Therefore, you can obtain the line in this form. Therefore, you can say that almost all the points are much more closer to this line. Therefore, this there can be a linear manner. Therefore, it is because I told you that we are just identifying the linear patterns only. Therefore, this is the first step. After that, you can perform this calculation, but it is better if you can obtain the what we can say as this scatter plot prior for calculation. Therefore, it would be better. It is because you can identify a linear pattern. After that, you can identify how is that relationship. Okay, this is all what I need to discuss for Spearman rank correlation and Pearson correlation coefficient. And thank you all for joining with this session.